Hello, everybody. We are live and welcome to another stream. So, welcome. Okay, so today we are going to try Gdevelop. If you don't know, Gdevelop is a 2D and 3D game engine, a no-code game engine to be specific. No-code means that you don't have to write code for your game, but you do have the option to do so with JavaScript. And the main thing that is the visual coding, that is the event-based coding. If you have used construct, then you might know about this one, the event-based scripting. But that's just, you just basically define a condition. You define a condition and then you give it an action. So if something happens, then this should happen, right? So that's the event-based programming. So this is the Gdevelop, and here there are a bunch of templates, some game templates, a platformer one, and a 3D. So the 3D is quite recent in this game engine. Before it was just a 2D game engine, but now it has the 3D capabilities, but they are not like other engines. So the 3D is just basic, right? There's nothing too fancy in 3D, but 2D is quite promising, and the coding method, that is no code at all, is quite good. You can use JavaScript to code, but I guess we're not gonna do that. We're just gonna stick with the visual coding thingy. So let's get started. So first, let's create a new project. So I'm going to create a new project, and I have used Gdevelop before, and it's quite good. It has a cool workflow, and it's really good engine. So let's give it the game Cubathon, because we're going to create the 2D version of that game that I created in my Godot tutorial series. So we're going to make the 2D version of it. Let's store it inside of my computer. Let me quickly select the folder Gdevelop, and let's create a new folder, Cubathon, and select folder. So basically I created a folder so that everything goes into this folder. Otherwise it just create a thing, like it just add all of the thing inside this Gdevelop folder. But I don't want that, because in future I might make some more projects, so I don't want them to be mixed, right? So I'm just going to select this one, and let's go. So let's select the desktop and mobile landscape, or let's go desktop full HD, and create project. So that's quite good. I have created a new project, and this is how it looks like. This is the properties, and this is the object. So properties are like inspector, and this is where you can add new objects. There's a button for that, and this is where all of the coding magic will be happening. This is just a little thingy over here. We don't want that. This is how it looks. This is the event programming page, where this is where I'm going to be spending a lot of time, because, well, that's the coding. It's like a code editor for this game engine. And then we have a bunch of options over here, like our properties. This is the project properties. We can change a bunch of stuff over here, and some branding, loading screen stuff, which I don't really care about right now. And well, that's all. Basically that's all. So icons and thumbnails, this is for the game. We don't want that either. Let's just give it a name. We want to rename it to level, let's say, or let's say game. Let's reopen it, and now let's get started. So we're going to create a 2D version of that Cubathon game. So we need to add a player. So we can add a new object, and there are a bunch of these. We can add tile maps, we can add 3D pokes or 3D model. as you can see, there's just these two options, nothing fancy for the 3D engine, but it's there to make a 3D game, right? So I'm going to get a sprite. This is going to be our player, and let's add an animation. So animation is the sprite. We can create multiple sprites to make an animation. So this is going to be a very simple sprite. We can get the sprites either from my computer or from the asset store. So here there's a built-in asset store right here, which have a bunch of assets that you can use for the project, right? There are a bunch of these. I can use any of these. These are all public domain assets, so that means I can use them in my games without any worrying about the licensing and stuff, right? So they are all game ready assets. I don't really need one, but I'm just showing the stuff. There are also 3D kit, like 3D assets, but of course these are for the 3D models thingy. As this is a sprite, it needs a 2D format file, right? So let's add a sprite, or let's create a sprite with Piskel. Piskel is a built-in image editor, or let's say pixel art editor thingy. So I can create my custom stuff over here. I can create all of the pixel art over here, but I don't really do pixel art, so I'm just gonna do a little bluish for the player, a simple square. Let's save it and let's apply. And if we drag it into the game window, into the game view, like the frame or whatever this thing is called, I'm gonna drag it there and let's preview the game. Let's allow the access, why not? Okay, so there's that, our little cube, our little player standing there. Now let's do the same thing with the sprite, I mean the ground. So the ground is going to be a tile sprite, because of course I can, I have to tile it so that I can do whatever with it. The ground is going to be also, we're going to create a ground, and let's select a nice green color for the ground. This one, it's too bright, damn, my eyes are hurting for real. Anyways, just do that. This is the ground, and also in the behaviors I have to give it a platform behavior so that it can work as a platform. There are a bunch of stuff like jump through platform and ladder, but it's a platform, and apply it. So this is the ground. It's this is a little bit smaller, but because it's a tile sprite, so that it's smaller, and we can show the grid over here, and we can do some stuff right this. Let me set up the grid so it's 32. That's nice. That's the same size what I want. So this is our player, this is the ground. Our player is going to be right here, and it's going to move. It's not going to move, the objects are going to move towards the player. So that's how the Cubathon game worked, and that's how it's gonna work. And I'm gonna place a like any object over here, so that if the obstacles collide with this one, the game restarts, or the obstacle respawns and gets deleted from here, so that you don't have a bunch of assets or the ground or obstacles moving around and destroying your PC performance. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to go to game events. But first I have to give the behavior, the platform character behavior to the, where I am not creating a platformer, right? So I don't need to give it this one. I'm going to create my custom one, because well, that's what I like to do. There's physics too, so I can go ahead and get the physics one. There you go, physics engine. So I can do some physics stuff, and it's quite similar to Godot physics, collision, mask, and layers. So that's nice. I can use this to make the player interact with only obstacles and stuff like that, but I don't really need this for now. Let's just leave it all like that. But for the platform, like the physics engine to work, everything must have a physics physics behavior. So it's going to be static because it's a ground, and that's just going to be dynamic, and it should fall down with gravity and it should collide. That's nice, it's working. The gravity is working in the player. Now in the player, we're gonna set a bunch of different stuff. We have to change the gravity scale to 2 so that it's a bit more responsive, like it's a bit fast. That's nice. Now in the game events, we're gonna say if we press the W key, so a key pressed, if we press the W or the A key or just space, but we are not in 3D. So if we press the space key, if we press it, we're gonna move our player with the apply impulse. This is going to be this thing. Then X component, where I want it to apply. So I want to apply player.x, I guess. Or no, that's the speed. I don't want any in the X, so I'm going to put a 0. I want this in Newton, so Newton times seconds per kilogram times meter per second. So this is the unit for this thing, but I just gonna give it 20, and let's say player.x and player.y. This is basically, I am coding stuff a little bit, but you can just do the same thing with this whatever this thing is called. I forgot the name. The expression editor. Yeah, the expression editor. Yeah. So now the player should jump when I press the space key. Okay, well, that should be minus 20, I guess, because I guess minus 20 is up. Okay, yeah, that works, but minus 20 is too much, so minus 0.5, let's say. Okay, I also have to do the trigger once while true, because that's running every frame, so it's getting a lot of stuff. So now it should work, and it's still a lot. Wow. Let's do minus 2 and let's see what happens. And yeah, that's good, but I don't want it to rotate like this. Like it's doing weird stuff, right? I don't want to rotate it, so I can, I guess, freeze its rotation. I want to freeze fixed rotation. That's right, that's what I want. So now it will not rotate and nothing bad will happen. But we can do that, like you can press smash space very fast and it can do that, right? It can build up the force or the impulse in it. So we have to figure out a way to make it, like if we press, or let's say this, if I change this to key released, let's see what happens. Can I still do that thing? Yep, I can still do that. So let's do that. If it's colliding with the player, so I add a condition, is that, let's say player is colliding with the ground. If there is in collision with ground, and then we're gonna say, we're gonna add a sub event, we're gonna run this one, right? If there is in collision with ground, and if the space key is pressed, we're gonna do this, otherwise it's not gonna jump. Okay, that's not working well. If is in ground, and we are gonna do ground and space key is pressed, I guess we can do that. I guess we have to use the physics collision thingy. So collision started with the ground. We're gonna do that now. This is because this condition. Let's remove that and let's see what happens. Still no. That's nice. There's and thingy. Yep. I want this. So if this is happening and this is also happening, like if there is in ground and we're pressing the space key, this should happen. So now it should work. I mean, should. And it's not. Very nice. Let's do the collision again. Okay, I guess this is because of this thing. Right, we are using the physics engine. I mean, let's just not use that, right? Let's just make everything ourselves, like gravity and every other stuff. So I'm not going to use the physics engine. Let's delete that. Apply. We have to delete this again because I didn't apply it before. Okay, now we're gonna simply say key pressed space. So if space is pressed, we're gonna say player, and we're gonna change at a force of angle, no angle, basically 0 angle, and speed is going to be 200 pixels per second, and it's going to be instant. Let's see what happens with this one. Okay, note in the add the 4 to move toward a position. Y position is going to be 0, 200. Let's see, what is this? Add a force. Speed on x-axis 0 and speed on y-axis 20 or 200. Yeah, this will work. I'm sure this should work. Okay, so that's that, right? Add to player an instant force of 0 pixel on axis. Okay, that should be minus negative 200. And we're gonna also do that every frame it's gonna add a force 0 in x and 200 in y, and it's going to be permanent. This is going to be the gravity for the game. So it's going to move downwards. That's nice. Just we're gonna add a condition. If player is in collision with the ground, we're gonna stop the force of the player. So there's that, stop the object. Okay, so that it stopped, but it keeps like it remains stopped. सही कह रहा है शहजाद, खुश रहा है. Dear again. So place in collision with ground, stop there, but this removes all the forces. So if like it's still colliding and it's still stopping the player, so it should happen once. So true, trigger once while true. Okay, now let's see what happens. Let's see. Okay, it just goes through that. Okay. That's cool. I mean, something is happening. That's nice, but something's... There was a thing, like I used a thing before. Like, it was something called bounce, I guess. And that will bounce. Bounce vertically there is object to bounce on ground. Okay, let's see if it bounces. It should not have any condition, and it should fall downwards. Is a position, y position, we're gonna add it to 20. We're gonna add 20 to it. Okay, that's nice. That is bouncing. That is working kind of. So let's see if the jumping pressed work. So space. Okay, space key is pressed. We're gonna change the position. We're gonna set it to -20 or 200, let's say. Let's see what happens. I'm just totally okay. Okay, it sets. Let's do add. Let's do this. -200. It's going to be negative. Yep. Okay, that's kind of work. It's too much. So let's do 20. Okay, 20 is a bit small. Let's do 60. Okay, I guess that works. Insert row. Okay, let's see what happens now if we press just once. I knew it, that's why I set it to 200. So well, now it should work. Okay, finally it's quite it's working, but it's like snapping it there because it's changing it too fast. So can I multiply it with something called time delta? Yep, there is time delta. So let's see what happens now. It should be smooth. Now I need to give it a much bigger value. Let's say 2000. It should go there smooth. Damn, it's still less. Okay, you know what? Let's do this. Okay, we could have used this one. Damn. Anyways, we'll go to this one. Mathematic tool. There is a lot of stuff. We don't need to worry about this one. So why don't we do this? Like, we go to behaviors. We add a behavior, and it should be a platformer behavior. Should be a platform character behavior. We are going to give it a 0 of every speed because we don't want it to move. We don't want it to do anything else, just jump and do gravity, right? It's gonna fall right through it because I knew it. Okay, so now let's also add the platformer behavior to this one. The platform behavior, so that these two can collide. And well, that's kind of working, but this thing is like, yeah, doing some stuff. We don't need any of these things, so just go ahead and go boom. No, it's not even. Damn. Okay, so I guess I need to give him like this stuff. So let me re-add it. Not this one, bro. Add a behavior and platform character. So now I don't want the player to move in left and right direction. So I guess I can set this to 0 and 0, and let's see what happens if I set them to 0. The player cannot move left and right, so that's nice, and we can only jump. But I don't like the gravity, so I'm gonna increase the jump speed and increase the gravity as well. So 900. Okay, finally, I think this is quite good. That is quite nice. So the player can jump. That is great. The player can jump. And that's our player controller done. Like this, literally that's it. Now there's no event right now because we are using behaviors, and behavior we could have used this one before, but well, I thought I can make a custom one, but well, yeah, things happen. Anyways, now we are going to do enemies. So let's add a sprite. This is going to be obstacle, not enemies but obstacle, because well, there's an obstacle. And now we are going to give him a nice red color because red is evil, and the obstacle is evil because it's going to kill us. And what should be the obstacle? Like, should it be a what it should be? I just want it to move in one direction, so I guess linear movement. That it should be, so minus 220, let's say. And let's add it over here. Let's see how it moves. Okay, it moves toward us. That is nice. So let's set its behavior. It's to 200. And can I do this? I cannot put stuff over here. So now that's quite fast, but it's quite like jittery movement it got there. Okay, let's move it down. Let's move it right here. It should be like this. The enemy is going to be right here. We are going to increase its speed to 400 because it was too slow. I like that. I like this one. I like this movement. This is good. And now we are going to make it so that it works. Well, there are 9 plus, but never mind. Okay, so now we're going to say if the player collides with the obstacle, so collision with the obstacle, we are gonna reload the scene, like scene, change the scene to game. So we're basically gonna restart the scene. So let's see if it works. So it glides, the scene restarts, and that's very nice. So that's our basic game loop done, but there is no randomness generation thingy, right? So that's what we're gonna do now. So let's go to the events. And now we're gonna work on the spawner of the enemy, by the way. So there's a thing called timer, right? There's a timer. Okay, so there's a timer. So we're gonna make a new timer. We're gonna create a timer. We're gonna start timer. We are gonna start an object timer, or let's start a scene timer. I'm gonna say enemy spawn delay. Okay, so we're gonna start the timer, and we're gonna say if the timer, the value of a scene timer is greater than or equal to 3 seconds, we're gonna simply print something. So is there a print thingy? Debug, log a message to the console. Yep, that's what I want. I'm gonna say boom. Okay, so what is there's info and not a group of message. We don't want any. So let's see if this happens. We're gonna minimize it to something very small so that we can go ahead. Where's the log thingy? Where can I get the log? Open settings, that's not what I want. Start preview and debugger. Continue anyway. Continue anyway, please. Game preview. Okay, so here hot reload started. So there's not any boom happening. I don't know if this is where the console stuff is printed. Well, like console in group. What's this group thingy? Let's print this message when this thing happens. And we're gonna currently disable that. So that just to know that it's working. So it collided with the thingy and there was a boom there. So that's nice. That means that the printing is working. But our timer is not. So let's say at the beginning of the scene, we're gonna start our timer, and then if the timer is greater than or equal to 3 seconds, we're gonna print a boom. I wanna do something. I'm gonna do in the properties, I am going to set the window size to a different size. So how can I do that? Is there a way to do that? Well, there was something over here. Okay, the game properties. How can I set the window size? I am pretty sure it was in this project settings and in the properties. Okay, there you go. So we're gonna set it to 800 by, or let's say 1152 by 940, 640. I guess this is the size of default window. Yeah, this is it. So this is how we're gonna do that. We have to move everything a bit up because, well, we have changed the size of our screen. Now it should be looking good. And yeah, we have to add gravity to the player because it's flying right now. I mean, if I move it up. So now in the debugger, let's see. Okay, so after 3 seconds it does that and it keeps on printing, which I don't want. So greater than 3 seconds, I want to do that, and I want to start the timer again, so it's, you know, get it into a kind of loop. Well, this is already gonna start, so let's just do this. Well, I do want that because I'm not gonna die every time. So let's do it 1 second. Let's preview now. And in the debugger, let's see if after 1 second, okay, so there's a message right there, boom. Okay, so it's printing after every second, so that's very nice. That's very nice. We are getting that thingy. So now, after this, instead of doing boom, we are gonna do create an object. So create an object, obstacle, at the position, obstacle dot x and obstacle dot y. So it's going to be creating the obstacle right over here, but I don't want it to here, so that I cannot see it inside my window. So let's see after every second. Okay, that's spawning there. Well, that's not what I want. What's the position over here? It's 11:52:416. Okay, let's just hard code everything. 11:52 and what was that? 416. Let's do that, and it should spawn there. And that's exactly what I want. That's working. I mean, it's kind of too like sequential, which I really don't want. I just want a simple thing. I mean, it's simple, but I want, you know, with random time. So how can I set the time, like the timer time, to be a bit default? So let's say, let's open this. I'm gonna say random float. let's do this. I don't have to give anything. Random float 1. No. Random float in range of 1 to 2. So anything between these two. So now it should be a little bit random. So now they are not like doing that sequential thing again. Now it's still doing that. I mean, it's very subtle. So let's do 2 and 4 so that it gives a bit, you know. So now it's kind of working, I guess. Nah, it's not. It's still doing that. So let's create a variable. Like, I have no idea how to do that, but we're gonna do that. So there is two variable types as far as I know: the scene variables and the object variables. So we're gonna create the scene variable because I guess that's the easiest. I don't know how to create that, by the way. How to create a scene variable. It was here before, I guess, but it's not right here anymore. So how do I create this object? You know, let's create an object variable. So here there's a variable thingy. Wait. There you go, we got game variables. So we are gonna variable, this is going to be the time, or let's say timer value. Is going to be a float. Wait, where is the float? Right. Okay, number, well, 0. So now I'm gonna do generate a random number after every second. So after this thingy or this thing, I'm going to generate a random number. I'm going to assign it to this. So yeah, let's add a group, event group. It's going to be spawning obstacle, and this is what handles that, the spawning of obstacle. Right now I'm going to create random number generator. Let me see if there's a thing in the asset library, a random number generator. If there's an extension, why should I not use it? Random color generator, choose a random value. Okay, this can work, I guess. Let's install it. Choose random string. Let's go to the game events. We're gonna say random choose obstacle. Okay, this is not given to anything. That's why I guess it's not working. I mean, we don't really want that. I just can create a new scene like this. I just can create this, and then in the loop you can simply say this one is greater than the timer value, or 1 second. After every second we have to do that, so that's why. And then we're gonna simply set the scene variable. Okay, so here's that. Add number variable, timer value, number to add, random float in range. So 0 to 4 or 1 to 4. Well, 0 to 4, let's say, or 2 to 4. I can decide. Okay, so every second we are adding a random number to this 2 to 4, and we're gonna print this to the console. Message to log is going to be spawn variable, I guess. uh scene variable. We're gonna do string variable, and here it's going to be a variable, so we can do this. Variable, number variable. Okay, these are the global variables, we don't want that. I need to give it a scene variable, a number variable, a timer value, and apply. Using a closing parenthesis, but a string is expected, so of course we're gonna do string, and that's it. Now it's gonna print the value of this one. I hope. I really hope. Okay, it does. It prints 0 every time, but fine. Wait, it's too fast. Babe, okay, I got a call. I'll be right back. I got a call. Alright, I'm back, and sorry for that. I just got a call and I gotta take that. So now, where were we? So we're creating, we were, okay, so this is how what we have right now. It's a basic spawning of objects. What I was doing is that I want to spawn the obstacle with a bit random time. So I was doing something like this, but I guess that's not working. So let's do another thing. So if there's a thing, like if I can change the variable timer, if I can change the timer value, then I can do something. Time to wait in seconds. Can I use this one, this time to wait thingy, to create some stuff? Can I use this thing infinitely? How can we run a loop, for loop, or a loop? Is there not a thing called loop? Because currently this doesn't feel too good. Right, it's too unnatural. Right? I mean, it's a game. I can call it a game because it is a game, but I really don't know. Anyways, this was the first prototype. I guess that's it. Let's also add score. Yeah, we gotta do text. So let's add a text, and this is going to be the score. 0 score. Okay, let's add this over here. I have to add it in another layer. So let's add open layer, and let's add a layer. This is going to be the UI layer. I have to add the text to this UI layer. So let's add it so that it doesn't move with the game. Even though the camera is not moving, but still I gotta do it. Let's do 64, and let's see how it looks in the game. So this is how it's gonna be doing this. So every time I skip a thing, I skip an obstacle, it should go by 1. So how can I do that? There's one thing I can do. I can make a object on top of this player, but that's not quite good. So what I can do is, instead of making it a score by this, I can just make it a distance score. I mean, that's the easiest way to do it. So that's nice. So let's see if I can do that. So the random number generator, we don't need you anymore. You can just go. So let's do an event group. This is going to be score, and inside the event, we're gonna say if the obstacle, let's add a thing, or not the obstacle, we're gonna create an object variable of score. So variable is going to be score, is going to be a number, and it's going to be 0. So now inside the game events, we're gonna say if the score variable, let's do this over here. So we want it to do every frame. So modify the text, we're gonna set it to score dot score. Right, we're gonna set it to this one, and we're gonna not set it, we're gonna add to this one, and then we're gonna also do string, because well, it's a string. Let's see if this works. Okay, that well, that didn't work. There was something, but it didn't work as I expected. So we don't want to modify, we do want to modify the text. Well, so let's do change number variable, score. We're gonna add 1 to it. So change the variable score of this, and then we're gonna modify this tag. When I set it to the score.score. Right, we're also going to convert it. So we're gonna have to convert it. Modify the tags. Let's do with this one. So conversion to number to text, score.score. Apply to string score. Now it should work. Okay, that works. That's nice. That works. So the score is running like it should. And now we just have to add a thing before it. So the thing is going to be score plus this. See if it works. And boom, it is displaying the text, the score, as I wanted. So that's quite nice. That's quite nice. We're also gonna add an M at the end, just so that it looks like it's in meters. It's the same thing that we did in the Godot beginner tutorial series. Okay, so it works. We got a score, and if we die, it should restart, and it's restarting, and that's very nice. So that's exactly what I wanted. So our very first game is done. This is very cool. I mean, it's just like it's an hour since I'm launched, and we got a working game, so that's nice. So this is the game. Very basic one. We got a score. We can avoid these. If we touch these, we die. So that's just a prototype, a very basic prototype. So we can increase, we can go on with this one, and we can make it in a better game. But well, that's not what I am here for. Now we're gonna make one last game, which is going to be another prototype of a shooting game. I want to experience how I can make a 2D top-down shooter in Gdevelop. So let's save this one. Let's create a new project. It's going to be the same stuff, but a custom size 1152 and 600, I guess, or 640. It's going to be top-down shooter, and let's select the folder, projects, Gdevelop, and shooter. Let's select this and create a project. Now let's add a new object. We're gonna create a player. I'm just gonna rush through all of this because I've done that before. So the player is going to be blue as blue, something like this color. Let's save it. And there's a top-down controller, so I can use that top-down movement. I want to allow diagonals but not rotating. So that's wait, I didn't. Okay, so that's our character controller done. Like, that's it. As you can see, we can move around, but it's quite slow, very slow. So let's increase it a little bit. We're gonna make it 600. We're gonna make it 600 or 800. We're gonna make it 800 plus. Can I do this? No, there's no. So 1200 is it deceleration. Let's see if this one works. Okay, I mean, that's quite like it. Like the deceleration, I guess it's because of the deceleration. So we don't want any deceleration. We want the player to stop. Okay, we want it to be quite fast. So let's do like this, just so that it stops really fast. Okay, but still this thing is not what I like. It's too bad. Let's also increase it up by full, right? So it instantly goes to that. And this is what I like. This is called the movement, bro. This is called the movement. Okay, let's just, you know, make it a little bit more so that it works. We're gonna make it like this. 4000 is quite a big value, but it's gonna give me the same results I want. I like this. I'm just gonna delete this because that's quite annoying, that banner thingy. Okay, so the controller and the movement is quite good. Now let's do the shooting and also rotating around the mouse. So how can I do that? In Gdevelop there's a thing called global mouse position thingy. Get global mouse position. Here this might be something similar. So rotate is the rotate the object, rotate towards angle, or rotate toward the position, rotate toward angle, mouse mouse X. Well, I have to do this. So where's that mouse thingy? There was a thing called mouse. I am certain it was here. Was it cursor? Oh, cursor position. Yeah, it's that. Cursor X and the cursor Y. So now it should follow the cursor with a speed of 0. So it should be instant. Right? And it does that. That's very cool. So we got a player controller working. The basic, very basic stuff. And we're gonna shoot some stuff. But we're gonna make the shooting. Let's add a group so that our code is not messy. So it's movement. Okay, move it up there and let's add it there. So this is the movement for this is the rotational thingy. Now we're gonna do a thing called let's go to the player in the edit collision masks, not the collision mask, edit points. There's a point. This is the origin, so it's going to be right here. I want another point which is going to be right here. So this is going to be I'm gonna make it right there and then increase the X by a lot like this. So this is bullet spawn. So I want my player bullet to spawn right here. So if you play the game, let me see. So that's how it moves. So this, by theory, it should be right here, that point that I just created. So if I press, if mouse button pressed, I just want mouse button pressed. If mouse button is pressed or touch held, let's just do that. Left primary. If the mouse button is pressed, but I don't want that. I want just pressed, like pressed. Mouse button pressed or touch held, mouse button released. Let's do mouse button released, so that if it released, we're gonna shoot a thing. So there's a thing called a fire behavior inside this. As far as I remember, there you go, 5 bullets. So it lets you do all kind of stuff, like all these kind of stuff, right? So you can set the number of bullets that can be created at once. You can set the firing arc and all kind of stuff. There's also reloading, so that's nice. You can do overheating and cooling stuff, angle variance, and blah 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 blah. Right, unlimited ammo is set and firing cooldown. You can set it over here, so 0.2. Apply. And all you have to do is say fire the bullet. Fire bullets toward a position, and it's going to be cursor.x, cursor x, and cursor y. Then there's a bullet. Oh, no. Player dot bullet spawn. There was player dot point, not the point. I want the bullet spawn thingy that I just created. So it should be bullet something. Let's try there. So it was origin, right? Wait, let me see how can I get that. This little point, how can I get the reference? Okay, I just do this bullet spawn. Right, so I want to fire a bullet towards a position. Player dot this, or player dot point x. Now we're gonna do this. We must wrap your text inside. Okay, like this. So that's our this, and that should be our point y. Then we're gonna define the bullet x, and then we're gonna also define the cursor x and cursor y. So basically I'm just coding and doing a little visual coding, like it's a mixture of those, right? So player, we're gonna create a new bullet object. Add an animation. It's going to be a very simple small a 4 or a 2x2 thingy. Resize 2x2. Let's resize it and let's just paint it. Save, and it's going to be a bullet. Now I don't have to do that. Well, cancel. Oh shit. Never mind, we can just add a sprite, choose a file, assets, and new sprite. That is the bullet. Let's apply. Fire, new sprite from with speed 220, let's say. So now it should do some stuff. So that's nice. It shoots stuff from that pivot point, which is really cool. Let's make this a bit faster. It's a bit too fast. Let's do it this, let's say. Okay, so 1200 pixels per second is great. The bullet object is kind of small, so let me re-edit that. So edit with Piscal, and let's make it 8x8. So resize. Let's just fill it with black. Save. Apply. The same stuff. And now it's good. The bullet is a little bit offsetted, so let me fix that. So edit points. This point is a little bit down. So let me do that. Let's see if it works now. Well, really that doesn't matter, but yeah, it's cool. So we can just, do it once when we press it. Well, we could have done just that, right? Mouse button pressed or touch held. This is also cool. We can just do this and we can shoot stuff. So that's the bullets working. Now I want to do is, after I want to wait, let's say 5 seconds, then I want to delete the object. which is going to be new sprite, but not a new sprite. It's called bullet. It's called bullet, you fool. So delete bullet. So after 5 seconds the bullet will be deleted. So now that's working. Okay, so yeah, that's kind of a thing. So I want that if the bullet is in the scene, so bullet is alive, like is if it's in the scene, then do stuff. Number of object instances on the scene. Okay, so if the number of objects, no, I want like if it exists in the scene. Is there not anything like if it is in the scene, then do that. Behavior activated, distance between parent and child. Okay, let's say this, so that if the number of instances is greater than or equal to 5, we must delete it. We must do this. We must delete the bullet. We're gonna do the greater than, because it's deleting 4. Okay, so that works. So I can only spawn 5 objects. Or I can do this, so that if the bullet is off screen, if the bullet is not visible or it's not on the screen, so is there a thing called screen? If the bullet is visible, or bounding box, if send bounding box top position, no, we don't want this one. Boolean variables, here the number of object instance is currently picked. Pick all objects. Big number of oh, that's not what we want. We want if the screen or visible, how can I set that if it's in the bounding box, like in the player view, then if it's out of that bounding view, it should go boom. Do I have to set it manually by doing some maths, which I am really bad at, or it's not that? Okay, we will see that this thing later. So I'm just gonna create a new group, firing, and let's do this. Okay, so now we got the movement with the firing. Now we're gonna make the obstacle, enemy obstacle spawning. I mean enemy spawning, not obstacle, bro. Enemy, add an animation, create with Piscal, and here we're gonna create a simple red rectangle, a red square that is going to be enemy. The behavior is there's not going to be any behavior, or is there a behavior for that? Like follow thingy. Smooth cam platform, we're gonna smoothly scroll to follow an object. Nope, we don't want that. We want, there's an pathfinding, there's an object for pathfinding. Okay, so we can do that. Obstacle for pathfinding, we can do pathfinding as well. That's nice. That's really cool. but we don't want any of that. So I am going to spawn it over here. Then I am going to move this guy. I'm going to change its position. I'm going to add, or let's move it. Add a force to move toward an object. Yep. Target object is player. Speed is 200 and it's going to be permanent. Okay, let's see if this works. So I'm just going to move it towards the player. Damn, that's fast. Okay, 20. Okay, 20 is still a bit fast. Okay, it should not do that. So let's do 2. Okay, that's a bit too slow. But it should not do that. The thing it's doing. Typically, let's do this. Let's set the instant. That's too slow. 200. Okay, I guess that's what I want. It's working, so that's nice. So it's instant, and that's exactly what I want. So now this is the enemy movement. Let's do enemy, and inside we can add a comment. How to add? Okay, there was a loop. This is okay. So this is a loop. Well, I don't need this right now, but I needed it before. But well, okay, so this is the movement, and now we are going to create the enemy spawning. So I want to do is at the beginning of the scene, I want to create timer, start or reset a scene timer. This is going to be enemy spawn delay. Okay, I can do this or I can do this. So standard event repeat. So how many times this will be repeated? Can I say 0 so that it repeats infinitely? Let's do this. It repeats infinitely. Right? So spawn or create an object of type enemy at any position, so random in range, so it's going to be 1152, or wait, okay, so what is this position? Let me show grid. What is this position? If I do just 1 pixel, so it's -32, -32, or yeah, so from here to here, -32 to, okay, so this is going to be a vector. So x is going to be -64. Wait, this is 0, right? From 0, so from 0 to 640 or 1152, and random in range 0 to 640. So this is the position. It can create or select anyone. Let's see if this works. It should create 1,000 of these. Okay, well, it didn't work. So let's say just do 4 times. We also have to wait 2 seconds to do this. So now it should work. So 4 times it should spawn. Shit. What? Okay, that's quite fast. I mean, what? Never mind, we're just gonna do a simple thingy. So timer, value of a scene timer enemy spawn delay is greater than 2 seconds. So after 2 seconds it should spawn an enemy, create an object at random in range 0 to 1152 and 0 to 640. So this is just creating a box like from 0 like this, and then in Y it's setting like this. Alright, so it's just creating this spawning box. So now if I have to do this again, reset the timer so that it works out of the box. It spawns an obstacle, it spawns an enemy anywhere it can, and that works. Now it should not collide with any of these, like with it should not do that, whichever the thing is doing. So this is the thing, the enemy should be separate from enemy, so it should not collide with one another like this. If I do this, it cannot go inside another, so that it should not do anything clipping like thingy. Okay, so the 2 seconds is quite slow, I mean quite fast. Let's do 3 seconds, and well, let's do the spawning is working. The spawning, can't I set all of these inside like this? Why do I have to do this? Wait, why it's not setting it? Okay, so it works. So this was the enemy. Now inside the firing, I can add a new event. Inside of here, I'm gonna say if my bullet is in collision with the enemy, the enemy should be deleted. I have to do one test though with this one, and it should not delete all of the instances. Like, let me wait a bit so that 2 instances can be spawned. Okay, so they are there. Okay, now they don't. Okay, delete the enemy as well as delete yourself as the bullet. So you should delete the enemy and delete itself like this. And we got a top-down shooter. Of course, the score is remaining, so let's do that. So inside text, score, or let's do kill counter, kills counter, or kill counter 64, kills 00. Let's choose a font. I cannot, these are not some stuff, so let's do bold and apply right here. We're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna add a layer, UI layer, and we're gonna add this one to UI layer. UI layer, okay. Now it should be able to move. Okay, one thing I have to do in the movement, I have to add a sub event here. I have to say key pressed W. I'm gonna simulate control choose an object player, simulate control, top down, key up. So we're gonna do this. So if we're pressing W, then we're gonna do this. We're gonna paste it 3 times. Let's say left, right, and last one down. Same thing here. So up, A, D, and S. So now I should be able to move with WSD and the arrow keys. So that's nice. That's working, and that's quite good. Now let's do the score. So every time I die, so let's add a variable inside of player that is going to be score. It's going to be a number, and it's going to be 0, not score. Let's say kills. Apply. Now inside the script, every time this is happening, we're gonna say modify. We're gonna say player, or let's say raise in collision with enemy. Player variable, where is that variable? Change the number variable. Kills, we're gonna add 1 to it, and then we are gonna add a new sub event, and we're gonna set the kill counter, modify the text. We're gonna set it to the variable, object variable. I'm gonna set the number variable, which is the player kills, and well, that's it. Now it should display my skills, or my kills, not my skills. And well, that's working. Very nice. And also before this, we're gonna add a string, which is going to be kills, and that's nice. We got 1 kill, 2 kills, and 3 kills. Now I'm gonna do one last thing to end the stream. One last thing, and that is going to be that if the enemy collides with the player, the enemy die, or the player dies. But before that, we're gonna do one more thing. Let's tell the player that enemy is spawning, and they should be aware of that. So like something like this: when the enemy is spawning, like it's going to spawn like in this place, it should give us an indicator that enemy is going to spawn right there. So let's create that indicator. So inside the sprite, enemy warn sign, let's say warning sign, add an animation, create with Piskel. It's going to be a simple rectangle like this, and like this. So it's just a warning sign. Let me make it red, full red. Damn, that's too bright red. Let's do this. Let's save and apply. So this is what is going to be spawning, where the enemy is going to spawn. So let's see if I can do this. So instead of doing this, I'm going to first spawn the sign. So let's add another comment. So spawn warning sign. We're gonna do this right over here. So spawn warning sign. I'm gonna basically copy all of this, paste it at event. I'm gonna paste everything over here, delete this one, We don't want this one. So set the restart timer. We're gonna create another one. This is going to be warning sign delay, and everything is going to be same. Enemy spawn delay is going to be warning sign delay. So if it's greater than 3 seconds, it should do this. And here we're gonna say we are going to set the position of the, when a node spawn, we're gonna create the warning sign at this position. So can I like comment these things? Toggle disabled. Yep, that's I want. I don't want to run these right now. So first there should be warning sign spawning like that. That's very nice. So now when the warning sign is spawned, then the enemy should spawn. So I have to do a bool variable inside the warning sign. So let's do that. So let's say can enemy spawn. This is going to be a boolean and it's going to be false by default. And right here, when the timer is this thing is cleared, I'm going to say warning sign. I'm going to change boolean variable can enemy spawn to true. Warning sign to true, and then I'm going to undisable these. Enable these. Toggle disabled. And it's going to be enable them. I am going to say at the beginning start a timer. I'm going to say everything. It's going to be the same, but it's going to be running here. So I'm going to add end. So if the timer is greater than 3 seconds and the player and the warning sign boolean variable can enemy is true, the boolean variable of object is true, then you can spawn the object like enemy. Otherwise you should not be able to do that. And also I am going to set the position of the enemy. Create object at position warning sign dot x and warning sign dot y. Let's see if this works. Okay, it works. That's nice. But it should do something like this. When this is like after 3 seconds this happens, then I want to start not the beginning of the sign, but when this happens. So after let's say 1 second of that, I'm gonna spawn the enemy. So it should give us a 1 second indicator that enemy is coming. Get lost. After 1 second it should spawn an object. Okay, so that's quite bad. Okay, well, we have to despawn the warning sign too. So when the enemy is spawned after this one, after 1 second we have to delete the object warning sign. So let's see if it works. If I kill this guy, a new warning sign will appear and enemy will spawn from there. So that's working. That's working. Nice. Storm warning signs are visible and they are spawning from the, yep, it's working. So that's the whole enemy logic. It's basically just if the warning sign delays 3 seconds, spawn the warning sign. And if the warning sign variable is true, that we can spawn enemies, then spawn enemies and delete warning sign. That's all we're doing. Nothing fancy, right? Okay, that's quite good. Okay, that works. Wait, let me drink water. Okay, so the enemy spawning and movement and everything is done. Let's do one thing. That if player is in collision with enemy, so if player is in collision with enemy, change the scene. Right now it should be untitled scene, and okay, I want to create a new scene. Let's rename this to game. Let's add a new scene. This is going to be restart or game over. Should it be a game over, or like it should display right over here? Like it's just a panel sprite button. It's just a button. Let's add that, and yeah, it's importing all of that stuff. We got a button. We can set its text to restart game, restart button. Is there a behavior we gotta add? Nope. Button states, nope, we don't. Not gay, bro. Restart game. And there's a hovered button, and there are animations basically. So if I add this into the scene, I can create a button like this. Let me toggle the grid. So it should be right here. It should be invisible by default. The layer should be UI layer. So edit object, not edit object. So I have to add another thing. Wait, let's try this. So if the button is pressable, that's nice. So we can do that. So it should be invisible. So at the beginning of the scene, let's make a new. So at the beginning of the scene, we are going to set its visibility. We're going to hide it basically, so that it doesn't show up when we are playing the game, like that. The enemy spawns, we can do stuff, we can get our kills, we can see it, and that's nice. Okay, that's nice. It's not visible, so that's good. And now right here we have to create a scene variable. So how can I do that? Edit scene variable, and it's going to be game over. It's going to be a boolean, and it's going to be false. We're going to check if the game scene variable. So if game over is true, we're going to do is show this button. Now in the firing, if bullet is not in the firing but in the enemy, right here, instead of changing the scene, we are going to show this guy, or we are simply going to change the scene boolean. So change boolean variable game over to true. Now we're checking if it is true, we show the restart button. So let's see. So it's hidden, we die, it should restart. And now when I see another thing, so if restart button is clicked, okay, if it is clicked, now it should change the scene, so it should restart the game. Now the scene is going to be game. So now if I die, I should restart the game, and also it should stop every other stuff. So inside, stop any other paused scenes, yes. So it should pause every other scene. Okay, this doesn't do that. Well, okay, I also have to stop the game. So stop or time scale, let's set it to 0, so everything just stops. A note there, we are going to do this here. Set the time scale of the scene to 0, it stops but the player still moves. So in the movement, we're going to give it a condition that scene boolean game over is false. Now it should only do that stuff. So if I am the game is not over, I can move, and if it's over, I cannot. Well, let's just do that instead of stopping the time, because that's not good. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to add a condition to every object. Is there a better method to do that? Is there a better way to do this? Like if I can do this and I can make it a sub event of this one, is everything should be only happening if the game, like if the variable is true. This should not be happening. This too. Okay, so I can just add a condition boolean scene. So if it is false, then it should happen, otherwise it should not do anything. It's spawning, and if I do this, I don't have to do that. That's nice. So if I restart the game, it restarts the game, I can do stuff, enemies still spawn, and well, I can move. So let's do the same thing over here. So add a sub event, move this condition to this event, move it upward, and then make all of these a sub event. Now it should work. If I am alive, if the game is not over, we can do stuff, and if I die, we cannot move, we can just press the button restart game. That's nice. That's nice. That's quite nice. It works. We made our very first successful game, bro. The last 2 streams were just too bad. Like, they failed. I could not even make a simple game, or let away the game. I couldn't even make the player move in flags. Like what the hell, bro? This is good. I can do stuff in this engine. This engine is cool. I definitely love this engine. This is way before this stream. I was planning to make a complete game in this one, and I might do it in very future. Let's add a group. Let's group these. So it's say evaluate game over, or let's do this without this. So evaluate game over. So this everything. Okay, I don't know why I cannot do this. Like I cannot select every object, every event, and then move it. I don't know why that's so annoying. I have to do it one by one. Okay, so that's good. We can do that, we actually don't have to do this, right? We don't need that enemy at the first place. I mean, this is so simple. Like, it's so simple for real. Okay, that's nice. Can we add a little post-processing stuff? Like, is there a thing called post-processing? I guess there are effects, but they are like, they go inside every object. Okay, we can create an outline. Damn, that's cool. So we can create an outline on the player. Damn, that's like an effect. Cool. So that's nice. We can do this with every object, and then it will look like an outlined game. No need to make art like that. Blending mode. Okay, brightness, color map. There are a lot of stuff. We can pixelate it. Dang. We can make a pixelated game. Okay, damn, that's cool. We have a pixelated game. Not completely pixelated. I don't know if I can apply this all to all of the objects, but yeah. So hello BMLP, hello. Sorry if I replied late, but we have completed the game. This is the final gameplay that I am going to show. Let me remove that pixelated effect. I was just checking out this. There are a lot of stuff. I really like this. The effects, there are a lot of them. There's also a glow one. I can add a glow of any color I want, and it will show up. Like this. There's a glow now. So that's nice. Anyways, we don't want that glow. We don't want that. So let's just delete that. Okay, delete it and apply. But I guess there should be a way to add it to every object. Let me see if there's a way to do that. I might want to do that. So how to add post-processing in Gdevelop. In the process, the game and rather similar, however, upon the layers panel. Okay, so we can add layer effects. How can we do that? Like this? Is that an effect? Okay, edit effect. Okay, we can add layer effects. That's nice. But well, they are just a sun and stuff. Add a 2D effect. We can add a new 2D effect. Okay, there you go. We got outline. Let's add outline to every object in the game. Let's add an outline. Now everything will have a white outline. There you go. Nice. So that's cool. Let's add a glow or a drop shadow. Let's say shadow is going to be black. Let's see how it looks. So that's a cool way of doing stuff, like adding effects to the layer. That's a really cool way. I like it. I mean, I didn't know that, so it's quite new to me. So everything now has a drop shadow, even the bullet. Nice. Okay, what the hell is happening? Right. Huh. What? The scene was restarting for some reasons, but it's cool now. Let me edit the effects. I don't want any top shadow. There's ASCII. What? Huh? What's that ASCII effect? What does it do? Oh, what? Huh. Damn, that's cool. So it makes the game like the old ASCII versions. Damn, that's cool. That's really cool. There's a glitch effect. Wait, there's a glitch effect. Is it gonna be animating? Okay, it's animating, but well, what the hell? It's a bit more glitched. It's too much animating. I mean, it's good. I can do stuff with it, but I don't want to. Let's just do advanced bloom. And how can I change the background? Okay, there's a background color. It's literally in front of me. I want to change it to something like this. A black background. Not so black, but just this black. And also change the font color to white. And let's play now. So there is a bloom. It does this weird thing, but I don't know. Well, I guess that's because the object is rotating. But I guess this looks cool. This is cool. The game is done. We can play this game right now like this. We can die. We can restart the game. So that's it. We have completed the game. The first game that is completed in this whole 3-part or 3 series, video series, 3 sessions, whatever. Well, this was a good stream. It's been almost 2 hours and I gotta go. So I'm kinda tired too. So I hope the stream was good. It was not so bad. And I hope whoever joined enjoyed the stream, or like anything that I did. If it was helpful to you, then go ahead and like that and button and subscribe this channel. I'll see you in the next session with another cool engine, which might be ct.js or might not be ct.js. This week or from the next weeks, I'm gonna do 2 streams per week. So a stream at Thursday night, which is today, and a stream at Saturday night. So if you want to join, then you know the time. It's 7 to 8 p.m. UTC. So you can come, you can watch me make games and sometimes suffer with some engines. Next one is probably gonna be ct.js. I like ct.js, so it's gonna be that one. So anyways, I hope you enjoyed the stream. I hope if anyone watched the stream, just if you enjoyed, just subscribe the button. subscribe the channel, and I'll see you in the next session. Bye bye.